Howdy friends, your city manager Seth Sumner here with the daily COVID-19 update. It is Tuesday, May 12th, 2020, and we will start, of course, with the Tennessee Department of Health data. And I do have two guests today to talk about the Athens recovery team and this new resource that I mentioned yesterday for the first time that is an online resource for all citizens of Athens to be able to tune into and look for, to get needs fulfilled, to have support, to know what is best practices during this pandemic, resources for our businesses and business owners, for staff, and so it'll be a one-stop shop on a website that we'll announce in just a few minutes. And so we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's get into our Department of Health numbers. 16,111 cases now of this pandemic. These are COVID-19 positive people that this is going back to the early onset, back early March of this pandemic. 567 new cases since yesterday. That is another hefty increase. There have been, thankfully, 8,336 Tennesseans recovered, which is a good increase of 298 from yesterday. We have 1,363 Tennesseans that have been hospitalized that are needing acute care during this pandemic. They have tested COVID-19 positive and are unable to recover well enough from their symptoms at home under quarantine and have needed to utilize our hospitals, our ICUs, and ventilator systems. That is an increase of 19 since yesterday. 19 more Tennesseans needing those resources. There are 7,812 hospital beds available across the state of Tennessee, and so we're still in a good, safe range as far as if we see another large spike of COVID positive cases that have acute syndrome or acute symptoms, that we still do have enough resources to handle that now. That was a fear early on based on projections that were made, especially through the University of Washington and some by the Vanderbilt University. But now we are seeing hopefully a decline in that and nowhere near exhausting those precious resources in all of our communities. We have a wonderful increase of 10,647 Tennesseans that have been tested just since yesterday. So Tennesseans are volunteers, we're good citizens, we love our neighbor, we love our state, we love our community, and so we're responsible and we take care of each other by knowing whether we have COVID-19 or not. And the only way to do that is that test. 10,647 Tennesseans since yesterday are being true volunteers, true citizens, and helping to create a better, healthier community by knowing, having that peace of mind of knowing whether they have or they don't have COVID-19. So keep up the great work. Right here in Athens and McLean County, you have been doing a tremendous job, a better job than volunteers all across our great state. Right here at home, you have been getting tested at a higher rate than just about anybody else across the state of Tennessee. Good job. Keep up the work. We love to feel that love. That leads us to 283,924 total tested since the onset of this pandemic. So I'm sure we'll probably see before the weekend well over 300,000 Tennesseans that have gone out and purposefully got tested for COVID-19. And the vast majority of those, thankfully, are negative results. We're happy to see that. So good job, folks. We are seeing also in more somber news an increase of 14 Tennesseans now since yesterday that have lost their life to COVID-related symptoms. We certainly want to lift those families that have been adversely affected up. We're here with you. We're being responsible. We're helping to protect you because we love you. And that's what we as citizens in our beautiful republic do, because we are responsible. It's our duty to take care of each other. And so that is now 265 Tennesseans who have died from COVID-19. And this is not a number, folks. These are friends. These are family members. These are not numbers. These are real people whose lives have been taken from them prematurely because they have come in contact with a COVID-19 person. That's why it is on our shoulders. It is a responsibility of us as citizens in this free nation to take on that duty, to be responsible and to take care of each other. That's what our Constitution is based on. We've got freedoms that are given to us, rights that are given to us in this free society so that we can work together to create something better and greater than we inherited. And when we act on our own self-interest, we cause harm to others. And that's not very patriotic. These are 265 Tennesseans that we are missing dearly right now because somebody didn't take this seriously. Because somebody didn't act to protect the health of another human being. Let's take this seriously, folks. We've got a long way to go before we're in the clear. All right, let's turn to our data dashboard and look at the counts across the state, county by county. Of course, Shelby County, Davidson County leading the way, still having the most. They also have international airports. They've got a lot more tourism. They've got a lot of visitors coming in and out, and that may have been part of where this came from. We have a big cluster here around Davidson County, the metro area. Those counties are being affected. We're with you, folks. We're right here in McLean County. We're going to do our part to help Tennesseans anywhere that needs help, because that's what we do here in the Friendly City. We do see, thankfully, that McLean County remains at 122 cases. That is no change from yesterday. I hope that continues. I hope that we can continue another long run with no other positive cases identified here locally. So 122, we're at day 2 of staying put. Let's keep it there, folks. And we do see that Bledsoe County kind of leading our corner with 604, and that is because of the prison population there. Largely asymptomatic, and we're seeing that more and more in this testing, that early on we were looking at certain symptoms. Now it's not just symptoms, but people that are asymptomatic that are testing positive, and they're carrying it. And they're passing it on to other people unknowingly because they may not be using their face mask and protecting their own health and the health of other people that they love, and even people that they don't know. And so we've got to make sure that we're doing the right thing. Washing our hands, 20 seconds, using good hygiene. It's smart during flu season. It's smart to do it now. Wearing the face mask if you have to be out in public around other people. Making sure to take those extra steps just to protect the health of our friends. So let's dive down a little bit deeper before I have my first guest up. So we're still looking at 52% of cases recovered. That's good. Let's keep it there or increase that. And still looking at a 2% mortality rate. And of course, I'll scoot over here so you can see these numbers a little bit better. The age ranges, 21 to 30 and 31 to 40 are still making up almost 40% of our population that have tested COVID positive. But only about 1% of that total percentage of that total population is is dying from COVID-related symptoms. And so a very, very, very low mortality rate in that population, but a high COVID positive rate. We see a smaller rate because you've done a great job protecting the vulnerable in our community, protecting our elderly people. And outside of a few clusters, one of those is here in McLean County. We do have one of those long-term care clusters right here that we're paying very close attention to because that's our family. Those are our loved ones right there in that facility that are affected. Thankfully, a lot of them are testing, are asymptomatic. They are being taken care of by that facility, by that staff, and also through the Department of Health. And so we wish that all of those who have tested positive in that facility, staff, residents, we wish you the best in recovery. And we're here. I know some folks are making a good effort to help further protect you. And I've shared with folks what we're doing here at the City of Athens to help further protect those folks and our general population if we need to respond to that facility or anywhere else where there has been a COVID-19 positive person identified. We're taking extra precautions to protect the public health using Tyvek suits and limited contact between firefighters, police officers, and our frontline folks here in the city. But what's important for us to pay attention to with that vulnerable population is that mortality rate. 22%, 28%, 35%. The older in age, the more mature the person, the higher the likelihood of them perishing from COVID symptoms. And so we have to continue to protect that population. Let's get down into McLean County. Here we are. We are now seeing one more McLean County and one more loved one, one more friend and family member has lost their life to COVID-19 here in McLean County. That was 8 yesterday. We're looking at 9 today. Good number, 37 McLean Countyans fully recovered. Excellent. 122, we're still there. Let's stay there. We had a good run at 3. Y'all remember those days? Seems like so long ago. We stayed at 3 for over 16 days. And here we are on day 58 of bringing these updates to you as a service to fellow Athenians to make sure that you've got a friendly city touch to the statewide resources and numbers and to let you know how our community is working together to protect our beautiful little city. So 122. 1991. I remember the Braves were making a comeback in 1991. That was a good year for baseball. 1991 McLean Countyans have now tested negative for COVID-19. So I'm sure that's going to be well over 2,000 when we report tomorrow. And so keep up the great work, Athenians, McLean Countyans. You're doing a wonderful job protecting your health and the health of our friends and loved ones. Keep doing what you're doing, wearing the face mask, using good hygiene, socially distancing. Those have been the ways that we found early on and continue to be the important ways that we're able to help protect other people's health and their lives by being responsible citizens. All right, so as we get ready to reset, I'll ask my first guest to walk up, and I will change our screen here. Miss Patti Greek, who is chairman of the Council Advisory Committee and also is leading the Athens recovery team since we have a citizen-led approach to what does, early on we talked about economic recovery, what does that look like for us, and we were reiterating a lot of what the guidelines that were put out by our governor. We were trying to add a personal touch to it, and then there was the idea of we need a one-stop source for our citizens, for our business owners, for customers, for everybody, and our vulnerable population, folks that are in need right now, to be able to go to and see everything that's going to be updated daily. And it was, I mean, just actually a couple days ago that all this got put together. And a local student here in Tennessee Wesleyan, Mary Maddox, was able to lend a hand and put this website together. So, Ms. Greek, if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit more about Athens Recovery Team.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Good afternoon. Actually, the Advisory Council we'll step back a little bit to explain what the advisory council is. It's 5 members, we have a city council, and each city council member respectfully looks at the population, and they select 5 members to represent them. And we meet 4 times a year, or if it's a called session. And in this case, our city manager and the city council actually asked if we would be responsible for helping guide where do we need to get our information from, because we all are seeing so much on the national news, but we also want to hear that, but we also need to know what's going on in our own town. How much information do we need, which is quite a bit, because we want to also make sure we're all on the same page. So the good idea that came from the city council through our city manager, Mr. Sumner, he actually asked if the city council advisory group could get together. So we sent out an email and got all their responses. And then also, I took it one step further. Also, because we're part of the business community, I asked if we could actually have some of the Main Street board members part of it. For example, Kathy, who's our EDA director, Kathy Price, she is actually touching base with every company in McLean County, and we need to have her voice because she knows what's going on as well. And then you look at all the different people that we have. So we got all the opinions, and then we narrowed it down to a committee that actually is a little bit more achievable to Zoom with. You can't have so many people on a Zoom if you've already done that. So that's the reason why I'm a chairperson, is because I'm over the advisory council committee. But we have City Council Bo Perkinson, but he's on the Main Street board. We have Kathy Knight, Patti Price, Jordan Curtis, I don't know where that came from, Jordan Curtis, and he also is in the bank industry, but he's all City Council and City Council Advisory Committee. Lisa Dodson, who's our Main Street director. John Profit, who is a former City Council member, but he's also on the Citizen Advisory Council, and he also is in a construction background. Frances Whit McMahon, and she oversees CASA, and she's also on the advisory board. And then Whitney Kimball Co., and you all seen Whitney last week, I believe, but she's a very vital part of this process as well. So Lisa Dodson brought to our attention Mary Mattis and her talents, and they decided we could do a website. And to be perfectly honest, last week was Mother's Day, and being a retailer, my hours, lots of hours, are going into reopening our store here in downtown Athens, so I can only do so many things in so many hours, and I'm very grateful for the business. So fortunately, between Lisa contacting Mary and then Whitney worked very tirelessly over 3 days, and Mary performed an amazing miracle, and we have a website now. And the purpose of this website is, our goal was to get the one page so that you all could quickly read it, get the information we need, how we're going to help each other, how we're going to stop the growth of this on what we can do on our end. Not so much, obviously, a cure, that's other people's responsibilities, but how can we slow it down in McMean, the city of Athens, McLean County. So the great thing is making sure we're on the same page, because we know that everybody's hearing different things, whether it be the newspaper, wherever you go online, look at your newspaper. If you get it here at home, use the Daily Post Athenian, wherever. But this way you'll know exactly where we're coming from with the governor's assistance from the state of Tennessee. We're following our state guidelines, our city guidelines, and our county guidelines. And so this has one page for everyone to go to see when are you going to be able to go to church. We're going to have all that on there. So this way we're all on the same page, so to speak, and it's very detailed. So if you want to click onto something, one specific thing, you can go to that, or you can actually just get your answers just by quickly going on yourself and reading all the guidelines. It's an amazing job that Mary has done, Mary and Whitney.
Absolutely.
Amazing job. So that's who the advisory council is, and we'll continue on. I think Seth has asked us when the governor's ready to go to phase 2, we will add that to it as well. And every update that we receive, you'll also see Seth's daily message. That'll be linked to this as well. So if you miss one or you only see part of it, you can go at any time and look at that. So we're just making sure that everybody's got the best communication they can, because rumors, unfortunately, will scare people more than the actual facts. So that's the most important thing. And when to wear your mask and be kind to others. respectful of others, the distance as much as you can, and that's not who we are. We are the friendly city, and we're so used to going, oh, hey, and running up. I mean, I'm usually sitting down going, hey, and you want to shake your hand, you want to stick your hand out to say hi to somebody, and you can't do it. And you know, growing up in the South, that's very rude. So,
yes.
Anyway, so that's who we are, and that's what this is about.
Thank you very much for that. And I will be going into a little bit more detail on the website. Whitney may have some more to offer on that, and we'll certainly want to cover that for you in detail, at least tomorrow before we kind of wrap up the week. But this will be kind of the new one-stop shop for everybody to check on daily if they'd like to. But just good best practices for good citizens.
Yes.
And also links to certain resources for those that are in need right now, because we are caring about our neighbors.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, Patti.
It's an honor.
Thanks, ma'am. And you're going to talk yourself out of it? You got to come on up. All right, so coming back for a second time on the update, Miss Whitney Kimball Co. And so really being a good force here and pushing the recovery team to look at some different ways that we may be able to commit some resources. And thankfully, you know, these are minimal things. I mean, used to this would be a really big chore. We'd be talking about it for weeks and weeks and weeks. But Mary was able to just put it together, and it's beautiful. And everything that it needs to be, just right there in 5 little pages. And so, Whitney, would you like to talk a little bit more about this resource?
I'll just say a couple of things. One is that Friendly City Forward, I think, was the idea of Lauren Shepard.
It was.
Correct?
It was.
The executive director of the Arts Center. And I just love the message there that, you know, we will continue to move forward in spite of COVID, maybe socially distant, but still in unity and together. And one of the ways that we can stay together is to stay in communication on the same page, and that's really what this website is hopefully going to do for us. And I will say, if you have any thoughts about additional resources that would be helpful to you as you navigate this time, please let us know. Reach out, and we'll see if we can get some those resources up there. I've already had people suggest that maybe we need a list of best practices about how do you patron local businesses responsibly and keep supporting our local businesses, but do it safely. So that, you know, maybe that's something that can go up there. One other plug I want to make is for not this Saturday, but next Saturday, we'll have a roundtable conversation among several leaders who will also be talking about, you know, how do we make the mental calculations right now about going out, wearing masks, doing the right thing to be responsible citizens. So we'll have a doctor, a pastor, a city official, and a business person at this roundtable. So you'll hear more about that, and I'm hopeful we can put that on this website too, so you can watch that event.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Good to have you back. Is there any other information you want to share? Well,
I will walk through this with folks later.
I will.
It's too long, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll dive into it with folks that want to tune back in tomorrow. I'll get down into the specifics, and there's not a whole lot there. It's just enough to quickly get where you need. If you want to help your neighbor in need, there's the link. There's community resources if you yourself are in a position of need, health and testing, and then a little bit just about the recovery team itself. And some beautiful photographs from our friendly city. I love it. And that was drone footage we took a couple years ago, flying out over the whole city. And how blessed are we to live here? Isn't this a beautiful place and wonderful people? A couple other announcements, and we'll end the session for today. At 12:15 today, I know it's already past now, but hopefully you did get the information and you were able to go outside. It's cloudy. It may have been more likely that you would have heard the KC-135 flying over, but a wonderful connection to the Tennessee National Guard. The 134th Air Refueling Wing, that big KC-135 that my actual my father-in-law was a navigator on, and my brother-in-law works still out at Tyson McGee. And so a big shout out, a big family connection to the Air Wing out there, and a big salute and thank you for all that you do to help protect us, keep us safe. And what they did today was fly over all of East Tennessee and was to salute, our National Guard was saluting our healthcare heroes for what they're doing on the front line of this battle right now in this pandemic. So great job. Thank you to our healthcare providers, those of you that are out there on the front line and dealing with this and many, many, many other illnesses right now. Thank you for being there and taking care of our friends when they're in their sometimes their darkest hour. Sometimes we know that without our health we have nothing, and you're there to make sure that they're well, that they're comfortable, and that they are able to recover. So thank you very much, and wonderful, certainly a wonderful salute by our Air National Guard. Also promised my wife that I would give a good shout out, because I'm typically one of several people from the community that gets to go up on stage and hand out awards to some of Athens' best and brightest graduating 8th graders. So from Athens City Middle School, I did want to mention the awards winners. We couldn't do the big ceremony as we typically do because of our pandemic right now. But to say good work to those 8th graders, making a difference in your fellow students' lives and the lives of others, going above and beyond in your work, in your diligence, in your studies, in athletics, in so many ways, and going on and graduating from the Athens City school system to the McLean County school system and off to high school. We're sorry that we couldn't be there with you today to walk with you across that stage and celebrate you with your students, but I do want to give a shout out to those folks. So from our local Kiwanis Club, they are recognizing top academics. I'll get all my consonants straight here in a second. Our Athens Kiwanis Club recognizing all of our top academics, and they are Wesley Graybill, congratulations Wesley, and Lauren Puchowski. Great job, guys. The Kiwanis Club also recognizing most outstanding 8th graders, Caden Heath and Natalie Leonicio. Congratulations. Our Capstar, local bank here, Capstar Citizen Award is Emma Grimmett. Great job. And Optimist Award, our local Optimist. A lot of good civic clubs right here in the Friendly City. An Optimist Award, they provide an award to Vidhi Patel and Brody Hibbs. Great job. Now, 2 final award winners received Best All Around as they're going on, have had a tremendous year in 8th grade, and what a wild year. What a way to leave. One of these kind of graduating ceremonies is in a pandemic. So, best all around, Ty Barnett and Sophia Sanchez. Great job, folks. Really proud of you 8th graders and all of our students out there at Athens City Schools. And we're looking forward to something that may be a little bit different when we return in the fall, but hopefully still finding those ways that we are and can be together once again in classrooms and in public spaces and in our parks and homes. We're looking forward to that day when we can safely say that we can be together again. Until then, we'll see you here on the daily COVID-19 update. I'm your city manager, Seth Sumner. May God bless you. May God bless Athens.